Welcome y'all to the VRNation Station. We're diving deep into vacation rental sensations.
All right, Matt, we got VRNation coming on. Now, everyone knows VRNation, one of the top in their field of vacation rental services, but you decided to do an event that was different. Why?
Honestly, because we need something different. Our industry needs to innovate. And we, as an organization, come together and we collaborate, we innovate, we like to network with one another. And this is an association that's built entirely on property managers. That's it. Yes, we have our vendors, we love our vendors, but it's on property managers. We have to innovate or die.
All right, so the event's coming up. When is the event coming out? Give it a big shout out. When is the event?
April 27th and 28th. Starts on a Sunday. Did that on purpose. So it's a little bit of the weekend and then a Monday. And it's in Austin, Texas at the JW Marriott right downtown.
See you there.
Welcome back to the VRNation Station podcast. We're very happy to have everybody joining in. We've been seeing some very early successes, so thank you all. I would like to throw out there, if you have not or you're not sure how to interact with us, we absolutely encourage you guys to send in questions. You can do it through YouTube. You can do it through info@vrnation.com. You can add comments to any of our social media sites. I'll introduce myself. So I'm Jamie Hansen. I'm the Director of Business Development at Cabino Property Management. My partner behind the scenes is Blake McKenzie. He owns EMR Vacation Rentals up in Victoria, British Columbia. And together we are working on this VRNation Station podcast to try to bring some actual relevant information back to short-term rental owners and employees, or anybody just generally interested in the business. So today I have the pleasure of having Sean Lynn, Allison Linton, and Alonda Miller online with us. And I'd like to have them introduce themselves. But first, I want to give you a heads up on what we're talking about. And the topic of today is we're talking about our annual conference that's coming up in Austin, Texas. So why don't we jump right in? And I'm just going to go to, I guess it'd be my right. So Sean, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the folks a little bit about you.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. My name's Sean Lynn. I'm owner and founder of Love North Vacation Rentals. Been in the vacation rental space for about 13 years and absolutely love it. Filled with amazing people, and every day is different. And we're right here in Leavenworth, Washington, which is a nice little tourist town. Just don't tell anybody because it's a great place to operate in. Lots of year-round activity here, and we have slower seasons, but definitely not dead seasons. So it's a great place to be.
Excellent. Well, we're very happy to have you on with us, Sean. Sean and I met actually at the very first VRNation conference in Reno, Nevada last year. We were just talking about that before we started the video. But before I go down that bunny trail, let's jump in, Alonda Miller. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and why you're here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us, Jamie. I'm out of Portland, Oregon, and I've had the great fortune of being in this industry for, I guess, almost 4 years now. And on top of that, I've had even more luck working with some wonderful people like Sean Lynn, who's one of my accounts. He's one of my top clients, and Allison Linton, who's my general manager at LiveRes. So I'm an account manager, and I'm also on the planning committee for the VRNation, which was formerly NWVRP, and this will be my 4th conference. So very exciting. Super excited to be here and talk about this amazing conference. I really think it's going to be the best one yet.
Awesome. Great. Right. Great. It's great to have you with us. I appreciate you showing up. Allison, I don't mean to say, the best for last year, but why don't you go ahead and share with us a little bit about you and tell us why you're here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have been in the industry for a while as an owner operator. So I'm very excited to be a part of this part of the industry and just hear more about VRNation. I got to spend my first time at a conference in Reno, but have been involved behind the scenes with a lot of the members and those on the board for the last couple of years. I'm currently the GM here at LiveRes, working with Inhabit and our slew of products in our portfolios, and also LMPM. So excited to be a part of this and just to continue to watch the industry grow.
Excellent. Well, that's great, you guys. Again, I appreciate you being here. Let's maybe jump right into it. Alana, you have an inside track being on the planning committee. But what I'll do is I'll just kind of throw out some of the things that I think are pretty interesting about the conference that are coming up. And if I miss something, please jump on in. But first and foremost, the conference, the dates. Let's talk about when the conference is and where it is, most importantly. So Alana, do you want to talk about it, or would you like me to just kind of knock that out?
Yeah, I think we can kind of work tandem on this, Jamie. The dates this year are April 27th and 28th of April. So Sunday, Monday. I think we have a lot of people. Oh, it's the 28th and 29th. Excuse me, 28th, 29th. I thought it was the 27th, 28th. So a lot of us are flying in on Saturday to prepare, chock full of really great presentations, a keynote speaker, VIP experiences. We've worked really hard to create tiered tracks for people from various stages of this industry that are just beginners to, people that have been in the industry for a very long time. Of course, I think this is going to be the coolest city that this conference has ever been in. Austin is an amazing city. It'll be great in April, spring, super fun. I think this is going to be the best one yet.
That's great. And where's the venue that we're staying? I haven't been to Austin. This would be my first time, which is very exciting for me. But is it at I think it was JW Marriott? Is that what I understand?
JW Marriott. Yep. So it's a centrally located hotel. So a great walkability score. So, we suggest for people to check out those restaurants, all those cool music venues. If they have the opportunity, get out there and network, meet some new folks. It's a great spot.
Cool. Allison or Sean, have you guys been to Austin before? Are you guys returning to a familiar area?
We actually had our partner conference in Austin last year. So quite a few of the LabRes and LNPM clients came into Austin. We were a little further out at a resort, but a lot of people went into town to have a good old time on some of our free nights. So I'm excited to get back to the city and get to experience downtown myself. Because I've heard it's amazing. So I'm super excited.
Oh, that's cool. Sean, how about you? You been there?
Yeah. I've been there a couple times, both with the LabRes conference. And then I had a few friends that have told me you cannot miss the bats flying out at dusk off the bridge. I can't remember the name of the bridge, but apparently it's pretty easy to find right in the middle of downtown.
Were they being serious, Sean, or is that?
Yeah, no, it's like millions of bats flying out at dusk. Well, or I'm just now looking like a goofball, which is not abnormal. So
no, it's actually true, Sean. That's actually true because I had heard about it through Steve Thompson told me that. Steve Thompson's he's the CEO of Scouted, and I think that they're actually planning an event. Don't quote me on that yet, but I think they're planning an event to actually go and watch the bats. So it's a real thing. It is a real thing, you guys. So I'm interested. I grew up in a rural area, so bats are really not that different for me, but hey, that's all right. So it'd be cool. I think it's going to be really, really great. So other things that I think are worth noting, especially about the conference, the theme, out with the old, in with the bold, right? I mean, it's interesting. It's not just a slogan, right? It's a call to action for vacation rental professionals who are ready to break away from the ordinary and embrace new and innovative strategies. If you think I just made that up, I'm not that good off the cuff. I actually read that. But the point is like, it's the one thing I love about VRNation, and me, and I'm interested in hearing your guys' stance on it. The innovation is really more in the networking. I've been to a couple different conferences in my time, and it's always been there's always been a little bit of a salesy flair. I get a rough rub with that. I'm like, I don't like to pay to go somewhere to get sold to. But when it comes into the VRNation, I learned so much, and I met so many great people. And mind you, it took me days to recover, but I met awesome people, right? And they were seriously great. I'm interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on that. I mean, what makes VRNation's conference different in your eyes?
I think right now, one of the biggest things in this last year that we've seen in the vacation rental market is there's been a lot of adversity and natural disasters, which has really changed the way that we do business, which has also afforded a lot of opportunities. Like you said, let's look at how we're doing things. Let's look and change maybe it's a tech stack, maybe it's our pricing strategy, marketing, et cetera, and really change our thinking and how we're getting out to the market. The recovery's taken a long time for a lot of these different communities. So I think that being bold, it's almost like a forced change in some respects, although very difficult. And, we sympathize for all of our communities. It is a very great opportunity to explore how business has been done and how we can change that in the market. Our clientele is changing. The generational impacts are changing, who our clients are, how we engage with them. So I'm really excited. I love to hear all the different takes of it. Like you said, Jamie, it's an opportunity to meet with like-minded individuals who strive for the same thing. So how are you doing it in the Pacific Northwest versus the Southeast? So it really provides that opportunity that we can do things similar, and maybe things that we haven't even heard of before. So I'm really excited about the theme and really taking the charge of being different, and just challenging the norms.
No, that's great. That's a great call. I like that thought process. Sean, how about you? What do you think? I mean, I know you enjoyed it. We talked about it last year.
Yeah, I absolutely love the conferences. I try to hit a couple a year. It's always so great. Now it's seeing old friends too on top of that. So it's always great seeing all the new stuff, and now you get to see your old friends and look forward to all that part of it. But I think like Allison said, the biggest thing is you're learning new things. You're learning what you don't know, right? You're running through the vendors and you're looking, and all of a sudden some vendor catches your eye that you've never seen before, and they're doing something brand new that you've never heard about that solves some pain point in your world, which is amazing. And to have those moments to be able to talk to those people. I also think in a world where Zoom and over the phone and email connections, that I really like that one-on-one talking to somebody, at these conferences. It's great. You can learn a lot really quickly just by being right there and having that back and forth that's real and accurate. And it's just a great, it just sets up the plate for really a great meal, right? So just put it all together and just sit down and just enjoy and all of it, including and then the other thing that I really love is just talking with all of the other managers that are there. I started going to the conference. It was a live res conference when I had 0 properties. It was great to go and learn all these things. And I go to every conference and I come away just energized with new ideas, and drives the team nuts, but that's all right. That's my job, and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Right. The visionary. It's all right.
Yeah.
And Sean,
So
you
Lana-
have you have close to 120 properties now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that speaks to, the value, the return on investment to attend conferences like that. I know it's blood, sweat, and tears also, and a lot of other things, but just to have that opportunity, I always think of it as kind of like a therapy or like cathartic session to meet with people that work in your industry, especially in these times of working remotely. It's having that opportunity to just, network and like, oh my gosh, you're experiencing the same thing. And like Sean was saying, how do you deal with this? And that's going to help my business. And it's always so fantastic to be in person for sure. But yeah, 125. Is it 125, Sean?
125. Yeah. One of the things that's really fun for me too is to give back, right? I love sitting down with people that had 2 or 3 properties that are just trying to figure it out, and it's great. And you energize them as well as people energize me. And so it's just such a great experience for that right there, just going to the conference.
I think
Which
that's
is
a big
funny
thing.
because we actually have a segue, you guys, on this, which is when we look at what the sessions are, right? Again, I don't want to be, Neil negative or whatever you talk about it, but some of the other conferences, I've kind of a hard time because I look at it and it's like, yeah, okay, some of it's software driven, some of it's really, but when I look at some of the sessions we have, and if I go back through it, some of the breakouts, things like networking done differently, right? Innovation lab, the bold and the best, right? These are some pretty powerful sessions when you start thinking about like, what do we need to do? I mean, we're all facing some really interesting times right now. As far as just, Allison, like you were saying, right? Like things are changing over. The face of our demographics are shifting, right? Who's buying, their purchasing habits, how you advertise, how you promote, how you market properties. It's all shifting. And it's really interesting because it's not layered in the same rhetoric that we've been hearing on and on and on. It's let's get together and let's talk about what are the things that we can do differently. What are the things that who's being successful and how can we help each other be successful? Because even though we're competitors in the true sense, we're also friends in the true sense, right? Just like Sean was saying, like seeing old friends. Like I can't wait to sit down with Sean and just talk about some of that growth and how he saw the growth, because I'd love to start growing like that as well. So Alana, do you have any inside scoop on the breakout sessions that you thought were worth calling out and talking about?
I feel like there are so many, but I did really quick, just want to circle back really quick on what you were saying, Jamie, about the industry changing and just some challenges that we're facing. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Sean again, because he was just at the Washington State Capitol a few years ago, actually petitioning against this new tax regulation that is trying to be pushed through. And I mean, it's, people like him, once again, who are pillars of our community that are fighting for us to have a sustainable life, as things continue to change. I didn't know if you wanted to chat about it a little bit, Sean. I asked if they were burning bras and raising flags and stuff, but he said that wasn't happening. So
nothing that exciting.
A little bit different than I imagined, but.
So that's a good segue, the breakout session. So the breakout sessions, some of the best ones that have been about regulations are coming to your area, right? I mean, you need to be an advocate for your world here in the STR, and you need to get involved. And if you're not, you're just along for the ride. And sometimes that's not always a good thing. So these breakout sessions will have a lot of these advocacy panelists that are there. Scott Leggett from Inhabit is excellent, very smart individual. Matt from Austin, I'm sure he'll be there. Sorry, Matt, I can't remember your last name. But there's some amazing people, and that's what's in those breakout sessions, along with many of the other topics that are there. But there's always key topics, and there's always something interesting. VRNation does such a great job at that, and putting together something. I've never gone, I'm just going to go back to the hotel room and work on emails, right? There's always something to go see. Emails are for Tuesday when you're flying home on the plane anyway.
I think to piggyback on that, I think the advocacy piece of this and that networking and getting together, you don't know what you don't know, right? You said that earlier, Sean, that until you get in these spaces, there's things that you're like, oh, wait, that's a thing. I didn't even know that was coming down the pipeline, because again, across the whole country, what you're seeing in the Pacific Northwest, we may not even be hearing about over here in the Midwest. So it really helps put in perspective how vast of a reach this is, and that network, and being prepared for what could be coming, depending on what it is. The breakout sessions, the networking, there's so much information that you can't go back and check your email, because you're going to miss what feels like a decade worth of knowledge and information from the experienced PMs to the new owners to, some of the vendors. So tons of information.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And it is funny. That is the one thing I've always noted. It's like, oh man, I got to go back to my room for a little bit, maybe lay down, or get some water, or just decompress, like by myself,
rehydrate,
for a minute, right? Rehydrate a little bit. But it's just like, but there's this class I really want to go to. I really got to get to this class, right? And I walk in the class, and of course, I'll see like 3-4 people I was out with last night. They're all just looking the same way. And it's like, it's just camaraderie at its best. We have a great time there. I really do. And it's so enjoyable. I wasn't really sure. Alana, do you have a list of the sessions, or is that on the site?
So we're going to have a lot of roundtable discussions, which is great. Everybody loves being able to connect with other people randomly. We've got everything from ChatGPT. There's a natural disaster panel. There's building a local alliance, which will be an amazing session. And that is actually with Scott Leggett, who, in my opinion, is just one of the pillars of our community. He's fantastic. I mean, to have Dirk Johnson, who does housekeeping certification. And as a matter of fact, I just took his housekeeping certification last week at the VRNation Roadshow in Portland. And I mean, I've always thought of myself as like clean a good house, but I learned a ton of things from Dirk. So he's fantastic. He's really fabulous, just from top to bottom, and just the value that will provide your team too, just to pass on to people who aren't available to attend the conference. So let's see, we've got the opportunity to chat with Justin Ford from Breezeway, who's like Captain Safety. We love him as well. Owner Acquisition Strategies by Stacy Weston, who has been in this industry for almost 40 years, I think, which is incredible. And she's actually here in Oregon. She's fantastic. She's just a wealth of knowledge. We love her. Sharon Keefe, who's with VRM Advocate. Sharon is one of my favorite people as well, and works closely with Allison and Sean and I. She used to work for Live Resin. Prior to that, she was an owner operator, and now she has this fantastic business that is so multifaceted. And Sean can probably speak to that as well. She knows everybody in our industry, and she's just the loveliest human and can help anybody out, and has great strategy. So she'll actually be doing a session as well. So the
She's
list
kind of like a wizard. She knows things that it's like, how in the world do you know that? I didn't even know that.
And you know what? She always does it with a smile on her face. And her positivity. She's like a Disney character in like the sweetest way possible. I just love her so much. She's amazing. And so yeah, that's just kind of a little taste of what's happening. We could go into it a little bit more, Jamie, if you wanted, but just to see that there's going to be a lot of diversity. I know that the committee's worked really hard on making sure to dial in material and assets for all different facets of our industry, right? Because there are people who, like Sean so many years ago, was just coming in with no properties and then now has 125. So we wanted to make sure that to dial in having content for all different types of people. So I definitely suggest studying the schedule and make sure that you do, like Allison said, you don't want to blink and miss a ton of content. So there's going to be a lot there.
Well, you did miss one thing. I'm going to have to throw this out there because I think Sean's my guy. I got $10, Sean. If you knock Matt Tesdall out of the pickleball tournament on Saturday, Host GPO Open starts at 10 a.m. You have to sign up. So, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some pickleball action on Saturday if people get there a little bit earlier. Obviously, conference starts Sunday, Monday. Host GPO has a pickleball tournament, which is, you got to admit, Allison, have you ever seen a pickleball tournament at a conference? I have not.
No, yeah. But I've got to watch. I want to watch the $10 bet on Matt Tesdall. So
I'm telling you right now,
totally
Tesdall was acting like he was the top pickleballer, and I'm like, I'm not going to be there for it. But I got some money on whoever takes Tesdall down. So we're going to see how that goes.
I'm going to have to ask for a pinch hitter. I'm going to be in the STR nerds with the Conseco folks. So
look at that! All right,
STR nerd. So I'm a nerd, although I do play pickleball as well. So
that's good. No, that's good. And I keep it light, you guys, but honestly, that's just part of the fun because if we look at all these things, and we haven't even talked about Steve Sims yet. Seriously, how cool is that? Right? I didn't know. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know anything about Steve Sims. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know anything about him. And then I can't remember if it was Tara or somebody that was talking to me about our keynote, and I'm like, who? And then I started to look into it, and I'm just like, wow, the background of Steve Sims. Are you guys familiar with Steve?
Not as much, probably around the same as you heard the name, started looking into, what his experience is, kind of the things that he's overcome, and he has done a lot. So I'm real excited to hear kind of his trajectory of how he started and was able to expand so quickly in what he did with his innovation, and all the opportunity that kind of presented itself.
Right. So again, it's one of those where, and I won't go into a whole gushing backstory with Steve, but if you haven't read Blue Fishing, it's a really, really interesting book. The Concierge, the Black Card, it really, how he went in and started to just create a mark, not only in one industry, but he started to create parallels. It's really something interesting. I find it very interesting and close to my heart. But I think it's just neat. It's not that I haven't had good keynote speakers in the past, but this one just seemed to really kind of hit home. And I think it hits a lot on the entrepreneurial mindset. Again, like Alonda, you're talking about Sean, right? And I know Sean, so I get it. He is a pure entrepreneur. He knows, he went in, he made the commitment. He's 100% all the time. And it's you got to have someone like Sean, who's 100% all the time, can look up to and go, wow, that guy's really, really into it. And that's where I think Steve comes into the mix. So again, I'll stop gushing about it, but it's just one of those that I always think man, it's going to make it worth the while to have, to make the trip down to Austin for sure.
He looks like he's got some really unique approaches on how he handles things. And I've stepped out and done some crazy things in this industry myself, and that are kind of unique. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, but it sure makes it fun. That's for sure. And hopefully you don't lose money at it.
Right. And we call that an investment in education. We don't call that losing money, right?
Good point.
You fail forward. We're going to fail forward every time. So what I'll do is I'll first just offer up and say, is there anything else you guys, if you had to make a sales pitch to a property manager to come to Austin, what would it be? Sean, why don't we start with you? What's your sales pitch? Sell me on Austin and why I should come.
One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about the breakout sessions is during webinars, when you're watching them, and they can be incredibly helpful and amazing as well. But when these breakout sessions are over, you can walk up and talk to the expert in the industry that you were just looking at, and ask questions and exchange business cards. And man, I've really leveraged that into some really cool things that has happened in our growth. And so just being able to do that and actually talking to these people in person, face to face, is important. The other one is just being in the room and being there with the other managers and having breakfast. And it's just 2 days of vacation rental, short-term rental stuff. And it's just always there. Your mind is always on. And if you go to these things, well, you need to go to these things, but you need to get engaged too. You can't just be there and be a wallflower, right? Get in and say hello to the person next to you and find out where they're at and what do they do. And everybody's got a story. Everybody's there to let it out. And you'll walk away with, if you've never been to one of these things, you'll walk away with 10, 20 new people that you've never met before. That if you have a pain point in your world, you now have potentially somebody that can help you with this. And that is, man, that's one of the little secret sauces in our company that we use. And I still use to this day. We use linens in our industry still to this day from somebody that told me 7 years ago about what company to go with. And it was an amazing recommendation. And here we are, right? Still using the same stuff today. Still a great job. Everything's working out great. And these are the kind of relationships you can form with these people. And it starts at these conferences, which is great. And then the last thing I'll say is VRNation just does such a wonderful job putting these together, well organized. The host last year was a little iffy. It was also Alonda, but other than that, it was fun. You wanted me to keep it light and fun, so I got to reel Alonda.
You got to throw them out there. Throw a few darts.
Anyway, so that's what I say. You got to go and just having fun and having a beer with Jamie and a smoky bar is a fun thing to do if I remember right.
Yeah, it was a good time. All right, I'm still on the fence, Alonda. Maybe you can help. Let's hear your pitch. Why should I go to this conference in Austin, Texas?
Honestly, I just have to echo everything that Sean said. I mean, you're going to create lifelong relationships once you go. You're going to have that opportunity to walk up to a subject matter expert on something that you want to learn about, to have that time and just the networking, the potential to be in Austin as well, which is huge. I mean, Austin is such a great city, and to hang out with you, Jamie. I mean, people are going to want to hang out with you too, right?
That's right. The fun guy, right?
Yeah.
Fun guy.
All right. I get it. Okay. Allison, you can't do a ditto statement. I need something new. I'm tipping towards it.
I think I can give it to you. So I honestly think the VRNation Conference it's similar to a family reunion, but people you choose to be around. So you are going and choosing to be around these individuals who have become lifelong friends in some sense. The industry and this group of individuals are there to watch everyone succeed. It's not that they're pitting themselves against each other or competition or whatever, which is what they think, right? It's like, I'm a PM, you're a PM, we can't share secrets, we can't do this, but it's the exact opposite of that. So it's an opportunity to really go immerse yourself with like-minded people, friends, some people now that you call family. I know that we have people that we call family, and just really be a part of that. And when you walk away, you have more knowledge, most of the time, more money back in your pocket because of something that you instituted from that conference, which just further pays for the trip. So it pays for it. So you're making money back from something you learned. You get to go hang out with your friends, take liquid IV, drink some Red Bulls, a lot of water, and just have a great time.
All right, you guys, you sold me. I'm coming. I'll be there. Don't forget
Let's
the
not
bats.
forget the bats and the tacos. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The bats, the tacos. We have the
Tacos and the
pickleball.
music.
We got
Yeah,
pickleball.
pickleball.
I'm pretty sure we have all sorts of other events and things planned. I am super excited. I really am, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all you guys there. Regardless, but we're at that point in the podcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to throw a little bit of a wrapper around it. So I appreciate everybody coming there. One thing I would suggest for everybody coming: bring business cards. Bring business cards, because you're going to meet so many cool people. If you're like me, there's no way you're going to remember everybody's name. But if you have those business cards and you start flipping through them and you're like, oh, yeah, I remember talking to Sean. Oh, definitely. I remember we were talking about, it's one of my tips to everybody is like, people think that business cards are antiquated. They're not. Take them, hand them out. It's really important because it just helps people to remember. And odds are, if you're like me, you probably have like a conference folder and you're probably going to bring them back to the next conference to pull them back out again, because that's just what I do. But awesome. Okay. So why don't we do, I'll put the wrapper on it. So first of all, thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you guys' stories, your insights. It's great having people who've been there and they understand the difference between a VRNation conference and other conferences. Granted, they're all great, but VRNation's the best. So for all our listeners tuning in, thank you very much. Again, we appreciate it. If you would like and follow, just click the little thumbs up or the follow button on YouTube, or if you're seeing it on our social media platforms, that would be great. And if you have any topics, ideas, or you want to participate in future podcasts, please just let us know. We'd love to have you on. All right. That being said, we'll just sign off for today. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and have a great day.
Thanks, Jamie.
Good luck on the March Madness.
To the latest creation. Join us each week for some sparkle and conversation. VRNation Station. Tune in and feel the thrill. We're talking rentals, making deals and paying bills. So grab your coffee or sit back by the shore. It's vacation rental time. Let's explore some more.